Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this is part 2 of the Base Malts videos. I'm doing videos, series of videos on malts, tasting them raw, then steeping them, tasting them again, see if there's a difference, and then trying to point some beers out that you may be able to pick up these malts in. So I've done Marisotto, I've done Golden Promise, and I've done Pale Malts on the previous video. This video I'm doing is looking at 2 barley malts, Munich and Vienna. And also 2 cereal malts, rye and wheat, which all their malts can be used as base malts. And when we talk about base malts, we're talking about anything really up to 80%, all the way up to 100% of the beer grain bill. Like wheat malt and barley, you could use like for wheat beers. You could have, I think they say about 50% minimum wheat in a wheat beer, but you could have 60. You could go up, and then you could have a whole wheat beer if you wanted to. I don't think there's many of them about. I think you do mix a bit of barley in them. Anyway, so I'm going to taste them raw, then steep them, come back and see what the flavours are. So today, let's do the Vienna first. So there's the Vienna malt. There's not a lot to see there, is there? Just some Vienna. Have a taste of them like this in the raw form. Actually quite nice. In the UK we call it Horlicks or Ovaltine is them, and that Vienna malt, that's the malt taste. That's what I'm getting. It's like a really nice sweet malty flavour, and that profile really does remind me of like a Horlicks or Ovaltine, which is a malt-based drink in the UK. I'm sure it may have other names, or it might be the same elsewhere. But if you've ever had that drink, it's a real sweet. I can only describe it as really malty, really nice, sweet, maybe slightly biscuit. That's nice. That's nice in that raw form. That's nice. So thinking of that, and using that as a base malt in the beer, it's going to be quite malty and a little bit biscuity. So that's lovely. That's really nice. That. Okay, let's try the other barley, which is Munich. I will read, see what I'm supposed to be bringing into the palate. That's Munich. That doesn't taste as sweet. Still very malty, not as sweet. Bit more bready, like fresh bread, and that. A little bit of biscuit. So not as sweet as Vienna, not as malty as Vienna. So it's a bit like Vienna, but dialed back a little bit, to be honest. So that's the Munich malt. So that's the 2 barley malts. Let's try the 2 cereal malts. Now this one, that's rye malt. Not really much point in me showing you them like that because you can't really see. That's how it tastes of rye. Okay, straight away. A lot tougher grain. A grain. A lot tougher. Quite hard. Now, if you ever had rye bread, well, pumpernickel, I think it's called. It's got that. It's got a little bit. You can feel a little bit of spiciness coming through on the tongue. There's a hint of spiciness there. You feel that across the tongue, which is quite pleasant. Not as malty as the other 2, nowhere near. There's a slight bitterness there as well, slightly bitter. So that one's slightly bitter, slightly spicy. I can see that reasons why that wouldn't really. There's not many beers around with 100% rye malt, but it does feel like that would be great blended into some of these other malts with the sweeter notes and the bready. So that's spicy and a little bit bitter. That's the rye malt. Okay, let's try the wheat. Creamy. Sounds strange. Pretty much like the rye, it's quite tough. The kernel is quite tough to grain. It's creamy. It seems to be coating my mouth inside. Quite grainy, but creamy is the overall thing I'm getting from that. In its raw form, it's really quite creamy. Quite creamy and quite balanced, I like to say, because it's not over sweet, it's not too malty, but it's definitely giving a real creamy feel in the mouth and on the palate. That's interesting. A little bit bready as well. That's really interesting. All four of them are totally different. What does it say? See what it says. I've got any info about what it says about them malts. Okay, so it says Vienna, sweet honey, almond, smooth. Okay. Munich, deep malty, grainy, toasty. I thought the Vienna was more malty than the Munich, but it's saying it's green. Grainy. That's my kettle just getting up to the temp again for the steam. Wheat, tart and bready. Okay, I got very creamy. I did get the bread as well. Not so much the tart on the song, but I have just tried 4 different malts at the same time, so the blend brilliant. And rye, toffee, caramel, and spice. Okay, I got the spice, and I got more bitterness than I did caramel and toffee. So I don't know why that is. Everyone's palate's different. This is just my experiment. Okay, so I'll come back to you. I'll steep them, come back, and we'll taste them after they've been steeped. Okay, cheers. Okay, so welcome back. So steep the grains, about 69 degrees. We've got the kettle with a temp on it for about 45 minutes. Let's have a look. So first of all, really noticeable, that's rye, really quite an amber colour. Let's bring them all over rather than back into. And then we've got the Munich, also quite a nice amber orange looking colour. Vienna, it's a bit lighter. And then wheat, a lot lighter really than the others. So let's try them. So let's go Vienna first. Let's see what it tastes like after a steep. See if I'm getting the same sort of flavours. The aroma, now it's really enhanced that aroma. It's really bready, really malty. It's got a sweetness about that. Let's go. Yeah, still really malty. Now it's like, it's definitely reminds me of Horlicks and Ovaltine. It's really malty, it's got a nice sweetness to it. But it's really comes across as malty. That's brilliant. So doing this, I can learn where I want to use these malts. Do I want to use them 100%, 50%, blend them with some of the others? So that's the whole point of this. So with that being really, really malty, I might want to blend that with something that brings a bit more like a biscuit. So I'm getting the malt, bready, biscuit. So something like the Marisotta and some Vienna. I think that would work really well together. So yeah, so the Vienna, even in the flavour after it's been steeped, is a really malty malt. That's the best way to say it. Bready, malty, sweet. So have a sip of water in between them. Well, let's go to Munich. So the Vienna and the Munich, the barley malts. So Munich's darker. It's a bit like a brown bread aroma. In the aroma, brown bread. A little bit malty as well there, malts. If I'm totally honest, it's like the crust of a bread. Brown bread or the crust of a bread. So it's a bit more toasty. So that malt to me is coming across, once I've done the steeping, more toasty. That's the Munich malt. That's bringing lots of toast. Bready, brown bread. Not as sweet as Vienna. That's really nice. I can see that being used in lots of beers, lots of my recipes as well. Just to get that brown bready, crusty, toasty flavour. That's superb. Really like that. That's Munich. That's yeah. Impressed with that one. Really impressed. Move over to rye. So this one's the one I said was spicy. What was the word? What was they saying? They were saying toffee caramel. I didn't get that. Has it changed though after it's been steeped? Very subtle in aroma. Really subtle. Nothing like the Munich or the Vienna. It's like Munich, Vienna dialed right back. These are cereal, not barley as well. So rye. What can I say that is? It's definitely got that little bit of spice. It just goes across your tongue, a little tiny little bit of spice. It does taste sweeter now it's had the steep. Is it caramel? Toffee? Not for my palate. It's sweeter. It's got a nice little bit of malt there. The spice is there. It's quite complex if I'm honest. I'm getting a little bit more bready as well. Again, I'm getting a bit more that brown pumpernickel bread, rye bread. Yeah, definitely. That's the flavour, which is is pleasant enough. Yeah, you need to. This one definitely maybe lower the percentage in the grain bill. You don't want to be going too high with this. Like maybe 10-20% just to get a little bit of that background spice, that bit of the pumpernickel flavours. But yeah, that's what I'm getting from that. So yeah, go forward. I don't think I'd overdo the rye, unless it's like I'm doing a rye IPA. Maybe push it to 25% in that grain bill, just to get that flavour, that pumpernickel. Let's have a little. Okay, so the last one is the wheat. This just really smells bready, straight off. Fresh bread, fresh baked bread, but a white bread. Not like the other one was a brown bread. This is definitely like a white bread. It's a lot sweeter than the rye, a lot sweeter, but it's like a white bread in flavour. And also, when I was saying before about that, the mouthfeel. Even in a little portion like this, you feel that coating. So the mouthfeel, so you can see why wheat malt brings body and head retention to beer, because there must be a lot of protein within this even after the steep, because you feel it across the palate for sure. It's definitely there. So yeah, again, use this in beers where you want to add more body, a bit more mouthfeel. It seems to be, this is the key to that. And I can see why it's used in New England IPAs as well, because that's obviously, you're getting that body, that mouthfeel, that fluffiness. It's there, it's definitely there. And the flavour's not overpowering, it's just like a nice running white bread, fresh bread. It's nice, it really is. So, that's the base malts. The next one I'll be doing then is the heritage malts. So look for that one coming out soon. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, it's just my palate experimenting. I can always look back on this and then with my recipes think, well, what did you think of that? Tasting, and just to see, you know, try it yourselves, see what flavours you get. Before I go, just to say, there is some beers out there where you could get these malts in quite high percentages. So Vienna malt, Utopian do a Vienna Keller Lager, Pilot do a Vienna Pale, Munich is used in Augustina's, Hofbrau, Polaner's, Spartan. They use Munich malts, quite a lot of Munich malts. Wheat, Welsh wheat beers, Erdinger, Franziskaner, Hogarden, Schneiderweiss, they're your wheat beers. They've got quite a high level of wheat in them, so that's the flavours you're going to get. You probably get that fluffy, that full body, that protein. It's going to give you a good head on that beer as well. That's what we're getting from the wheat malt. And the rye, Hook Norton do a red rye, Brick Brewery do a Peckham rye, and Beavertown do the 8 Ball rye IPA. So if you want to try them and get them flavours that I'm talking about for yourselves, that's the best way I can sort of advise you to go and try and pull out them flavours from them beers. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.